God's people were in exile. They had sinned, they had rejected God, and God finally said, "Enough of this. I send you away." And while in exile, the people repented and turned back to God. And one of those people was a young man named Daniel. Daniel was very smart. The king of Babylon, where Daniel was in exile, noticed him and put him in a position of power. I want to read this. Then the king placed Daniel in a high position and lavished many gifts on him. He made him ruler over the entire province of Babylon and placed him in charge of all its wise men. Does that ring a bell for you? You see that wise men were also called Magi. And hundreds of years later, Magi would be watching and waiting for Christmas. And they would come and give gifts to the child Jesus. See, this is really cool. God placed Daniel right where he was so we could tell all the others about the prophecies that we've all been hearing about for the last several weeks. That these wise men were waiting and saying, a Savior is coming. A child of God is coming. And they were watching and waiting. They were linked to Christmas just because Daniel had been put there. Who have you been put with? Who have you been put with that you can share Jesus with? That you can link someone to Christmas and tell them, yes, we live in a broken world, but at Christmas, a Savior came to rescue us from this broken world. Can you imagine? Think about Daniel in heaven as the Magi that saw Jesus meet Daniel in heaven and say, oh, we got to meet the Savior because of you. Can you imagine 100 years from now meeting someone in heaven and that person saying, I got to meet heaven because you told my parents and they told me. As we approach Christmas, think about who you can link to Christmas, because you are linked to Christmas. You are linked to Christ.